So I'm Steve Wildhaber, and I'm a study abroad advisor and also international exchange advisor. So I advise both our outbound students and our inbound exchange students. Two teams in our office that work with incoming students. There's the degree-seeking side. That unit's the International Student and Scholar Services. And that includes international admissions. And then study abroad handles the incoming international exchange. Those are the international students here for 6 months to a year. As an international student, you often get caught up in your small bubble. It's much more comfortable to stick with the same students of your countrymen, because you don't have to venture out so far into the new society, new culture, and it could just be as simple as language. You're just uncomfortable using English as your second language, and so it's much easier to stick with the one that you know.
Because everybody, just imagine like everybody talking to you like super fast in this language, like it just makes things like 1,000 times worse.
You're having to not only deal with a completely different language, different letters, different alphabet. We don't use characters here, obviously. But just diet, just daily life. You know, their diet's based on rice, ours is based on wheat. And so they have to make a big adjustment there. But of course the cultural adjustments are also quite large, and the academic adjustments. So we have a very structured academic system. They like the small town aspect because when you're an international student, you need to start building a community quickly. You're only here for 6 months to a year. So the sooner that you can start connecting with Americans and other international exchange students, the better off you're going to be in the long run. Especially because in the first month or two, you're in that honeymoon phase. It may only last a couple weeks depending on the student, how much exposure they've had previously to other cultures. But everything is wonderful. They're on a high. They're exploring everything, and then they realize, well, it's a little bit more long term. I have to actually adjust and settle down in this community. So the thing about Chico that probably helps students here more than if they're in a large city is that they can't remain anonymous.
Because no one was talking to me, and I would feel lonely, and people couldn't even understand me. And later on, I started liking it because I finally started hanging out with all my American friends and finally try get along with people. So that's when I started liking it.
Yeah, the beginning was pretty hard, but I would talk to them often through different social networks such as Skype, Facebook.
Being away from all my friends and family, obviously, I was just pulled away from everything. And we definitely lost some of the traditions we had.
A major cultural difference between where I'm from and Chico is definitely the crime. In Jackson, there's 4,000 people. It's super small. We don't lock our doors or our cars or anything. There's no crime whatsoever. You can walk wherever you want at night alone. And then here it's scary. You can't walk alone. It's the first place I've ever lived where you can't walk alone.
At home, it's never a problem to walk anywhere at any time of night or any time of the day or anything, and I can walk alone at all times. And I don't like that. I can't even walk home alone at night here.
Even though I'm making friends in the United States, there's still a barrier in between, and people still couldn't understand the way I'm doing things, and sometimes they still judge me based on that. So that would be the hardest part.
Where first day of class, the professor is going to hand you a syllabus. On that syllabus will break down what will happen each week, every chapter, and when to read it, when the assignments are due. And that's generally an American perspective. That's our approach to education. That's not the way the rest of the world works. Students like the location California. They may not know quite where it is on the map before they apply. They tend to think that we are on the beach. There are definitely some students that come from international partners. Maybe they only had a handful of choices. You know, could have been the United States. They may have been able to choose Colorado, Texas, or California. They know California.
I didn't know anyone at all when I was already established in a place, and then just kind of like uprooted my whole life and moved here. I didn't have a job or anything. Like, it was just, I was like uncomfortable.
The students that come from larger cities, definitely they have an adjustment coming to a smaller town.
It's friendly. I mean, there are a couple of people who's being really racist.
Major cultural differences between here and there.
Well, there is the whole technology factor, like, the US is more advanced. When you compare the two countries, though, you do see, like, big differences in, like, wealth and other opportunities.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Say what I like most about Chico culture is like the college town. I also really like how cheap it is here. Like, anywhere else you're gonna pay like $8 for a drink in a bar, and here you could get it for 50 cents.
Students enjoy themselves no matter where they are in the world.
Yeah.
And the students that get caught up at Chico State may not have come here only for academic reasons. That's true for also outbound and inbound. It's just international students there. So students definitely have to adjust to our education system here, learn new strategies for success. Chico stays at the top because of certain programs that we offer.
The thing that has been hard for me was the food. I really miss the food back home. People's style, like clothing style, like the guys don't dress like people, like the guys in Europe. And the lifestyle, like people in America are really into work.
Try to support that effort by having the Global Voices events. That's a partnership with the Cross-Cultural Leadership Center and Study Abroad, designing cultural events that happen a couple times a semester, trying to bring awareness about other cultures. And what we're able to do when we have more of these inbound students is get those international students integrated into these events. And so our domestic students will see a lot more opportunity for opportunities for learning about these other cultures. They may know nothing about Thailand, for example, to come to one of our events and witness some aspect of a festival, a Thai festival, or try Thai food, some ethnic dance. You would have otherwise never learned about it. And study abroad is not for everyone. It's not a right at university; it's a privilege. But while we want to increase the number of outbound students, having more international students on campus is going to help our domestic students later, once they graduate, understand other cultures, because they will have had first-hand experience with international students here during their 4 years or 2 years in the master's program. You bump into people everywhere in Chico. The campus is the downtown, so they're able to build friendships more quickly in a town like Chico than if they were in LA or San Diego or San Francisco. At least that's our approach here. Go to the rec center, find intramural sports. Adventure outings is a great way to get out. The students can spend time with Americans and other international students at low cost. Many of them spend the breaks traveling, so they do get out of Chico. But overall, we have a pretty high success rate with students that come to Chico. They want to extend, they've enjoyed their time, they've built some great friendships. I think we have a lot to offer for international exchange. I think the biggest adjustment, because they're here to study, you know, this is the main purpose of this. The biggest adjustment comes with the academic system. Ours is just so unique compared to the rest of the world. You need to come with an open mind. You will be adjusting to life in Chico. We want you to adjust. And it won't always be easy, but there's a huge benefit at the end, that you're going to have this opportunity to better understand the world, better understand yourself and your home country, your home culture. And we often say this for outbound students: you need to embrace ambiguity. There's not going to be, you're not going to understand every way and you know, understand American culture at all times. You're going to have to adjust to that. You need to step out of your comfort zone, get to know Americans, embrace it. You'll find some great friends here, but there's some challenges with breaking into new friendships and new circles. So if you can find interest groups, do whatever it is that you do in your home country.
Like everything. I was like a baby here because I have to learn everything from scratch. How to do laundry, how to use ATM. Even my roommate taught me how to do makeup. I have no clue how to do that either.
I came here as maybe a shy person, and I learned here how to be like more friendly, more open, socializing.
Don't stay in your dorm room stuck on Facebook. Life certainly goes on back home, but now is the exciting time. Focus on every day. It's an opportunity every time you wake up. Take advantage of it.
Chico State is clearly a diverse campus. It takes understanding and the courage to step out of your comfort zone to engage the diversity around you. Chico has students from all walks of life, from Southern California to Texas to the Middle East to Hong Kong and beyond. Culturally adapting to life in Chico can be difficult for some. People from just outside the city limits can experience culture shock. Chico is a melting pot of many different cultures. The party scene can sometimes distract students from their academic studies. While on the honeymoon stage, many students overindulge and become irresponsible. The students who stay on track and actively engage in the Chico culture will ultimately be successful in their assimilation. Chico is unlike any other place you will visit, and it has its own unique culture. Possibly the largest factor for overcoming culture shock is one's mindset and attitude. So be sure to remember, the world is your oyster.